Hello and welcome. I'm David and this is episode 3 of Jenks Knits. Now, it's been a while. I've been a bit busy. Wanted to get one out before now, but kind of like with Christmas and everything, New Year at the start of the month, things went a bit slow, so I hadn't done a lot of knitting, so there was no point in giving you an update. But here we are. I now do have some stuff to show you, and we should begin with this. Haha, a glove. Yes, I've made a glove. You may remember, those of you who watched episode 2, having only knitted on acrylic, we did a Secret Santa, and a friend from the knitting club gave me some real wool, and I was deciding a hat or gloves. Well, I went for gloves, and so there we have a glove. And the other one, yes, we have a finished object. Surprisingly, because, you know, I did say I'm very slow at knitting, and finished objects will be few and far between, but here we have, within the space of a month, a finished object. So, it's drops wool, it's 100% wool. I can't remember the exact type, but it's Aran weight. Because of my tension, I followed a double knit pattern. I did actually use a pattern for this, and I've forgotten to check which pattern it is, but I will either put something up or link down in the description. Now it's a very good. These they're fingerless mitts with a green flap. So yeah, that's what we decided to go for. I think I had decided that in the last episode. So the thumb, I think I've positioned it a bit low in the actual glove itself. I would have preferred it to sit more there, but then you pull your thumb up and it pulls all this up. Yeah, I think that's the issue. It's a bit tight. You can see where it stretches across the palm. Probably because the pattern wasn't for a man, but they do work, they fit. And then same with the top. When it sits naturally, sometimes my fingers are in the end, sometimes they're more down here when this becomes redundant. But it's all to do with how it was made. Do I want to undo that seam and move the thumb? Not really. They're workable, they're lovely and warm. I've used them on a few cold days now, and even now my hands are getting really warm, and I've only just put them on for the video. So I'm very, very pleased with them, and I'm very pleased with the wool. Knitting with it, I found it a bit coarser than acrylic, because I've only ever tended to use acrylic, and I found real wool to be that little bit coarser. But other than that, no real problems. It was a nice and quick knit. So yeah, that's them. That's my first finished object. And on the back of that, we'll go onto the wools next, because on the back of this, when I was making them, my stepmom, dad's partner, stepmom, I call her stepmom, she said, "Oh, can I have a pair of fingerless mitts?" So I thought, oh yeah, that's fine. And so I thought to myself, well, what does she like? She's Disneyfied, likes Tinkerbell. So I've picked this wool. There's blue in it, but there's a lot of yellows and greens. This is the Hayfield Spirit, and the shade is 0409. So I don't know what the actual name of the colourway is, but it just, with the green and the yellow that you can see, it put me in mind of Tinkerbell. So I thought she might like them. So I'm going to do a pair straight up fingerless mitts in this. What is it actually made? I know it's a blend. Yeah, acrylic and wool. So an 80-20 blend. Yeah, so I will be doing a pair of fingerless mitts in that for her. So that's on my to-do list. It's not yet been cast on. Also on the back of the gloves, one of the Analea from the knitting group, she's asked me to do a full pair of fingerless mitts with the flap, and she's given me this to do it in. So I don't know what it is. She just pulled it out of a bag and said that colour, she'd been looking for something to do in it, so can I make her a pair in that. I don't know if there is even enough wool here to do, so I'll probably start on the actual fingerless mitts, and then if I do get unstuck, we can do the top flap in a different colour. But yeah, so I've got that to cast on as well. So that's them. Now that does bring me on to stuff that's on the needles, and that brings us to the big project of the jumper. Now it won't look any different to when I last held it up, even though when I last held it up I was about there probably. So it's grown. It's now almost under the armpit, so I'm almost at the decreases, but this has been put on the back burner because, as some of you may have guessed from the title of the video, I used to be a monogamous knitter. So I used to only knit one thing at a time. Not so anymore. My days of monogamy have gone, because whilst I've been working on this, I have also, you might remember right back episode 1, I had a scarf that I cast on in this burgundy sort of very red winey type colour for my mum, but this is my own design, and so I took the opportunity to plough on with this a little bit, and that's what it's looking like. Okay, and that, where is it? There, that level is one whole repeat. So you can see, look, the pattern switches over. You can see it just starting to form again there. So yeah, so that level across there, that down, that is one repeat of the pattern. But so let me just talk you through the pattern that we've got going here. So we've got this sort of like crossed Celtic cable going on, but then they go out into the diagonals and they create these diamonds. So we got moss stitch in these 4. So all the way up there and all the way down there will be moss stitch, and then these we have garter stitch down here, down the edges to make the diamonds, to give the diamonds some strength, and then the next ones in, they go from a cross pattern and a twist pattern, and they alternate sides. So you'll see that that side and that side, they are the same, they just change step, and that's my own design. So what I'm hoping for this is when I've knit it up into a scarf, I will then take a photo of it and I will pop it up on Ravelry. Reminds me of Ravelry, yes. But no, this will go up onto Ravelry. Was a chart to download. I'm also thinking of putting up the written instructions, but the written instructions are quite difficult because there's 50 rows. Every row is different. Almost every row is different, so it needs to be written out each time. So the written instructions for this are long. So let me know in the down there in the comment section, do you want the written instructions for this as well to go up? Yeah, and it'll have a fair price point. You know, I'm a newish designer. I'm also hoping to get some test knits done, so some test knitters can get back and say, you know, oh yes, that was great, I enjoyed the challenge, or no, it was horrible and I couldn't make it work. So yeah, that's that, and I am really pleased with how that's coming out. It doesn't even look that good on the camera, but when, yeah, it looks much better actually in person than it does on that camera. So yeah, that's my scarf. So my break from monogamy doesn't end there, because I've also cast on my stepdad's scarf. So this is my mum's partner. I said to you I got the 2 balls of Aaron. Again, that was back in episode 1 I showed them. The 2 greys. So we got these 2, 1 and 2. And you've probably seen now the little bit of the scarf that I've cast on. So this will be striped. You can see on how that's starting. They'll work their way up into a nice Aaron scarf for him. It's acrylic, it's simple stuff, it's stuff that I've used before. Quite nice to work with, and I'm really enjoying making it. So yeah, so that's another project I've got on. One thing that I am finding with the stripes, it's easier to keep going because you think, oh, I'll just reach the next stripe, or you know, I mean, I'm almost halfway through a stripe there. So the stripes aren't very big, it's easy to get onto the next one, and that is progressing quite nicely. And you'll see, one of the things that I'm struggling with, you can just see at the edge there, the weaving in. I missed one. Yeah, the weaving in of that edge needs to be watched as I continue up, mainly because I'm not quite sure how to do it, but I make it up as I go along, so long as it's tucked, it's alright. So yeah, that's the issue I'm having with that, but it's coming along quite nicely, and I will let you know when that gets to sort of like this sort of length, and we can have another look at that. Right, that's that, but it isn't, because in the craft and chat group that I go to at the craft cabin in Pontypool, big shout out to Tanya who runs the craft cabin, but they have been doing socks. And so all that we've had, and the Grocery Girls, for those of you what I'd watch the Grocery Girls, but I'm right back near the beginning of their podcast, so I don't know what they've been up to, but they keep going on about sock talk, and I've always shied away from socks because, well, you can tell with these long needles. And for those of you who saw episode 2 where I talked about my knitting style, I just noticed this has got twisted up, look. So I noticed that I was absently-mindedly winding that border wall up. As I looked down, I saw that a bit of it had come off and it got itself tangled, so I was trying to undo that and talk to you, which terribly unprofessional. So yeah, socks, they're all knitting them in the round, and because I work on long needles, and those of you who saw that I pinned this one underneath, it's then very difficult to knit in the round with that held there. So I'd been umming and ahhing about doing socks, but to go out and buy new needles, a whole new, you know, because you need the 2 for work in the front and the back. What else do you need? Lots of stuff. And then the 4-ply, and then working out all the tensions, and I didn't even know if I liked doing socks. So Tanya from the craft cabin, she said to me, she says, oh, I've got this pattern going, and I've put it down now and I can't see it. There it is. She says, oh, I've got this pattern that I've had for ages, and then knit flat. So and it's a Wendy pattern, and there's all sorts of different ones. So there's some laced ones, but on the back you've also got cabled, plain, ribbed or textured. And so I'm doing this textured one, just a short sock, just to see what it's like to actually make up. So yeah, I'm doing that in the green you've just seen, just to see if I can get on with socks, and then I might see if I can borrow somebody's round needles just to see if I can knit one up in the round, and then which method suits me better, whether I'm better sticking on the short on the longs and flats, or whether I'm better looking in the round. And even so, once I've got the basics of this, I'll then be able to edit this and put my own stitches in, just to get the general. But this is it so far. So it's working top down, so it will be that way round, and obviously that'll go around the leg, and you can see the texture starting to form with the pearls. I'm quite enjoying it. Again, I'm about halfway down the leg, so I'm halfway through these repeats now. There should be 8 and I've got 4, so yeah, finding that actually quite good. It's something different, and I'm looking forward to doing the shaping on it. But again, I'll let you know how that's going on. So yeah, I used to be a monogamous knitter, and now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on needles, and they're trying to convince me to buy more needles to get the other 2 on them as well. So yeah, I think the days of me being monogamous in my knitting are long gone, and I only bought 1 of each needle to try and keep it that way. What a shame. But there we go. So that's it. That's what I've been up to this month. Again, my apologies for it being so long. I will try to pull my finger out over February and crack on so that we can at least get 2 episodes. But again, it depends on how much I knit. It might be 2, it might just be the 1. So before I go, I would like to say a big thank you to everybody who subscribed so far and who commented on the last video, and it's so nice to see so many other men knitting. So if you are a male knitter and you've watched this far, just drop me a hello. Let me know that you're out there, that you're knitting, and that we're taking the cause to the men, because more men need to knit. It's a enjoyable pastime. It's productive. Let's bring the manly back into knitting. And that statement, even as you say it, it sounds strange, doesn't it? Bring the manly back into knitting, but it can be done, and it should be done. So yeah, get out there. And my challenge over the month is to get knitting in public. Sit on a bench or something. Don't know if I'll do that February or a bit more in the spring, because it's a bit cold on the old hands at the moment. But I do need to get out knitting in public more, and we'll talk more about that and about my fears of it. I don't know whether or not I'll do, like in future episodes, I'll do a little bit at the end where I pick up needles and we talk, and I'll knit a bit whilst we talk about a topic, because I've also been looking into current famous men who knit, and a few names might spring to mind, so we can have a look at some of them. We can have a look at the history of men knitting. We can have a look at the history of knitting. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you want to see, as well as all the stuff that I'm doing. What else do you want to see? Should they be separate videos? I don't know. We're growing the channel. Let's grow it together. And thinking of growing the channel, before I forget and sign off, I have a Ravelry group, and I have no idea how to use Ravelry very well. So it's Jenks Knits on Ravelry. I think that'll work. So go find it. Hit me up. Let me know that you found it. Let me know that you're there. And then let me know how to use it and how to set things up. Because I really haven't got a clue. So yeah. And it'll be nice to get talking to more of you over on Ravelry as well as in the comments. So if you haven't got Ravelry, don't worry about just leaving a comment, because it's all good. It's all good stuff. So yeah, right, that's me done. I will catch you all later, February some point. Have a lovely month, 2 weeks, whatever it will be, and happy knitting, guys. Thanks for watching.